Greetings. This is Doc Ock coming at you live and direct from Black Facts Headquarters Central today with another installment of Doc Ock at noon and 9. And have we got a live stream for you today? Yes, we are definitely coming live with some words, some wisdom, and some thought that will help you be able to thrive. Because we're going to dig all deep down into all this biblical knowledge that y'all haven't been able to get in college. But before we do that, you know what we need to do. First and foremost, go ahead and give us a like. If you're watching on Facebook, we've seen y'all out there giving us a like. Keep on doing that. We really appreciate it. Number two, give us a thumbs up. If you're watching on YouTube, we see we got some new subscribers out there. That's wonderful. Let's keep that rolling. And last but not least, go ahead and spread the word far and wide to your family, your friends, your enemies, and anybody else you know who needs some edification, some mental edification and elevation. That's right, because we rising to the highest heights. Absolutely. We taking this to the taking it to the stage. Let's take it to the stage. Let's take it to the stage. Proverb for today. A man's wealth may be superior to himself. A man's wealth may be superior to himself. All right. And that is a Cameroonian proverb. So, proverb from the Cameroon. Now, today, we are about to delve into something here that we didn't realize we were going to be delving into, because we've had this book. We got this book back in the late 70s, and we never actually had a chance to, well, we've read parts of it, but we haven't read some of these parts that we're reading right now. And if we have, we haven't read it for a long time, and we certainly haven't shared it in this kind of format. So you all who are watching right now are some of the first that are going to hear about this particular part of the story of the Queen of Sheba and her only son Menelik, meaning Menelik the First. Now, when you see our slideshow today, you're going to see a number of pictures of Menelik the Second. We don't have any pictures firsthand of Menelik the First, but we do have plenty of photographs, drawings, paintings, etc. of Menelik the Second. And you know, the second is going to look a lot like the first, just like I look a lot like my daddy. So we can infer from the images that we have of Menelik the Second what Menelik the First looked like. Now let's go ahead and get this party started and get off into our book today, because we are truly dealing with the Queen of Sheba, the legend and the reality. And we've been dealing a lot with the legend, but now we're coming into the shown up, dyed in the wool reality. We're gonna make it real for you today. So let's see where we left off at yesterday. We left off at part 34. We finished part 34. We're on part 35. How King Solomon sent to his son the commander of his army, of King Solomon's army. And Solomon, the king, sent the commander of his army, on whose hand he was wont to lean, with gifts and meat and drink, to entertain that traveler. And the commander set out with a great number of wagons, and he came to Ben-Alechem and embraced him, and gave him everything that Solomon the king had sent unto him. And he said unto him, Make haste and come with me, for the heart of the king is burnt up as with fire, with the love of thee. Peradventure he will find out for himself whether thou art his own son or his brother. For in thine appearance and in thine conversation or manner, thou art in no way different from him. And now rise up quickly, for my lord the king said unto me, haste and bring him hither to me in honor and comfort, and with suitable service, and in joy and gladness. And the young man answered and said unto him, I thank God, the Lord of Israel, that I have found grace with my lord the king, without having seen his face. His word hath rejoiced me. And now I will put my trust in the Lord of Israel, that he will show me the king, and will bring me back safely to my mother, the queen, and to my country, Ethiopia. And Benaiah, the son of Yodah, the commander of the army of King Solomon, answered and said unto Benalacum, my lord, this is a very small matter, and thou wilt find far greater joy and pleasure with my lord the king. And as concerning what thou sayest, my mother and my country, Solomon the king, is better than my mother, and this our country is better than thy country. And as for thy country, we have heard that it is a land of cold and cloud, and a country of glare and burning heat, and a region of snow and ice. And when the sons of Noah, Shem and Ham and Japheth divided the world among them, they looked on thy country with wisdom, and saw that although it was spacious and broad, it was a land of whirlwind and burning heat, and therefore gave it to Canaan, the son of Ham, as a portion for himself and his seed forever. But the land that is ours is the land of inheritance, in other words, the promised land, which God hath given unto us according to the oath that he swore to our fathers, a land flowing with milk and honey, where sustenance is ours without anxiety, a land that yieldeth fruit of every kind in its season without exhausting labor, a land which God keepeth watch over continually from one year to the beginning of the revolution of the next. All this is thine, and we are thine, and we will be thine heirs, and thou shalt dwell in our country, for thou art the seed of David, the Lord of my Lord, and unto thee belongeth this throne of Israel. And the headmen of the merchant Tamrin answered and said unto Benaiah, our country is the better. The air, in other words, the climate of our country is good, for it is without burning heat and fire, and the water of our country is good and sweet, and floweth in rivers. Moreover, the tops of our mountains run with water, and we do not do as ye do in your country, that is to say, dig very deep wells in search of water. And we do not die through the heat of the sun, but even at noonday we hunt wild animals, namely the wild buffaloes and gazelles and birds and small animals. And in the winter, God taketh heed unto us from one year to the beginning of the course of the next. And in the springtime, the people eat what they have trodden with the foot, as in the land of Egypt. And as for our trees, they produce good crops of fruit, and the wheat and the barley, and all our fruits and cattle are good and wonderful. But there is one thing that ye have wherein ye are better than we are, namely wisdom, and because of it we are journeying to you. And Benaiah, the commander of the army of King Solomon, answered, saying, what is better than wisdom? For wisdom hath founded the earth, and made strong the heavens, and fettered the waves of the sea, so that, I don't know why it's doing that, so that, where was I at? And fettered the waves of the sea, so that it might not cover the earth. Try this again. However, rise up and let us go to my Lord, for his heart is greatly moved by love for thee, and he had sent me to bring thee to him with all speed possible. And the son of the queen rose up and arrayed Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, and the 50 men who... Why does it keep doing this? I don't understand this. Okay. It's doing something strange here. It's not supposed to do. Let's see what it'll stop now. Went on, and the son of Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, went on in front and came to the place where Solomon was. And he told him that the son of the queen was well favored in his appearance, and that his voice was pleasant. Where was I at? And that he resembled him in form, and that his whole bearing was exceedingly noble. And the king said unto him, where is he? Did I not send thee forth to bring him as quickly as possible? And Benaiah said unto him, he is here. I will bring him quickly. And Benaiah went and said unto the young man, rise up, O my master, and come, and making Benaiah to go quickly, he brought him to the king's gate. And when all the soldiers saw him, they made obeisance unto him. And they said, behold, King Solomon hath gone forth from his abode. And when the men who were inside came forth, they marveled, and they went back to their places. And again they saw the king upon his throne. And wondering, they went forth again and looked at the young man. And they were incapable of speaking and of saying anything. And when Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, came in again to announce to the king the arrival of the young man, there was none standing before the king, but all Israel had thronged outside to see him. Okay, now let's see. Here we go now. Yeah, still wants to go that way. How King Solomon held intercourse with his son. And Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, went out and brought Benaiah inside. And when King Solomon saw him, he rose up and moved forward to welcome him. And he loosed the band of his apparel from his shoulder, and he embraced him with his hands resting on his breast. And he kissed his mouth and forehead and eyes. And he said unto him, behold, my father David hath renewed his youth, and hath risen from the dead, and Solomon the king turned around to those who had announced the arrival of the young man. And he said unto them, ye said unto me, he resembleth thee, but this is not my stature. See if I can go back again. But this is not my stature. Where was that? But the stature of David, my father, in the days of his early manhood, and he is handsomer than I. And Solomon the king rose up straightway, and he went into his chamber, and he arrayed the young man in apparel made of cloth, embroidered with gold, and a belt of gold. And he set a crown upon his head, and a ring upon his finger. And having arrayed him in glorious apparel, which bewitched the eyes, he seated him upon his throne, that he might be equal in rank to himself. And he said unto the nobles and officers of Israel, O ye who treat me with contumely among yourselves, and say that I have no son, look ye, this is my son, the fruit that hath gone forth from my body, whom God the Lord of Israel hath given me when I expected it not. And his nobles answered and said unto him, Blessed be the mother who hath brought forth this young man, and blessed be the day wherein thou hadst union with the mother of this young man. For there hath risen upon us from the root of Jesse a shining man, who shall be king of the posterity of our posterity of his seed. Concerning his father, none shall ask questions, and none shall say, Whence is his coming? Verily he is an Israelite of the seed of David, fashioned perfectly in the likeness of his father's form and appearance. We are his servants, and he shall be our king. And they brought upon him gifts, each according to his greatness. And the young man took that ring which his mother had given him when they were alone together. And he said unto his father, Take this ring, and remember the word which thou didst speak unto the queen, and give unto us a portion of the fringe of the covering of the tabernacle of the law of God, so that we may worship it all our days. And all those who are subject unto us, and those who are in the kingdom of the queen. And the king answered and said unto him, Why givest thou me the ring as a sign? Without thy giving me a sign, I discovered the likeness of thy form to myself, for thou art indeed my son. And the merchant Tamrin spoke again unto King Solomon, saying, Hearken, O king, unto the message which thy handmaiden, the queen, my mistress, sent by me. Take this young man, anoint him, consecrate him, and bless him, and make him king over our country, and give him the command that a woman shall never again reign in this country, and send him back in peace. And peace be with the might of thy kingdom, and with thy brilliant wisdom. As for me, I never wished that he should come where thou art, but he urged me exceedingly, that he should be allowed to come. Where thou art. But he urged me exceedingly that he should be allowed to come to thee. And besides, I was afraid for him, lest he should fall sick on the journey, either through thirst for water or the heat of the sun, and I should bring my gray hairs down to the grave with sorrow. Then I put my trust in the holy heavenly Zion, the tabernacle of the law of God, and thou wilt not withhold it in thy wisdom. For thy nobles cannot return to their houses and look upon their children, by reason of the abundance of wisdom and food which thou givest them, according to their desire. And they say, the table of Solomon is better for us than enjoying and gratifying ourselves in our own houses. And because of this, I, through my fear, sought protection, so that thou mightest not establish him with thee, but mightest send him back to me in peace, without sickness and suffering, in love and in peace, that my heart might rejoice at having encountered thee. And the king answered him and said unto him, Besides travailing with him and suckling him, what else hath the woman to do with the son? A daughter belongeth to the mother, and a boy to the father. God cursed Eve, saying, Bring forth children in anguish and with sorrow of heart. And after thy bringing forth shall take place thy return to thy husband with an oath. He said, Bring forth, and having sworn, thy return to thy husband shall follow. As for this my son, I will not give him to the queen, but I will make him king over Israel. For this is my firstborn, the first of my race, whom God hath given me. And then Solomon sent unto the young man evening and morning, dainty meats and apparel of honor and gold and silver. And he said unto him, it is better for thee to dwell here in our country with us, where the house of God is, and where the tabernacle of the law of God is, and where God dwelleth. And the young man, his son, sent a message unto him, saying, gold and silver and rich apparel are not wanting in our country, but I came hither in order to hear thy wisdom, and to see thy face, and to salute thee, and to pay homage to thy kingdom, and to make obeisance to thee. And then I intended thee to send me away to my mother and to my own country, for no man hateth the place where he was born, and everyone loveth the things of his native country. And though thou givest me dainty meats, I do not love them, and they are not suitable for my body. But the meats whereby I grow and become strong are those that are gratifying to me. And although thy country pleaseth me, even as doth a garden, yet it is not my heart gratified therewith. Yet is not my heart gratified therewith. The mountains of the land of my mother, where I was born, are far better in my sight. And as for the tabernacle of the God of Israel, if I adore it where I am, it will give me glory. And I shall look upon the house of God which thou hast builded, and I will make offering I will make offering and make supplication to it there. And as for Zion, the tabernacle of the law of God, give me a portion of the fringe of the covering thereof, and I will worship it with my mother and with all those who are subject to my sovereignty. For my lady, the queen, hath already rooted out all those who served idols, and those who worshipped strange objects, and stones, and trees, and she hath rooted them out, and hath brought them to Zion, the tabernacle of the law of God. And she did according to thy word, and we worship God. And the king was not able to make his son consent to remain in Jerusalem with all his persuadings. So we'll leave off right there. We actually read longer than we expected to. But as you can see, the proof is in the pudding. We have right here documentation from the Keber Nagast, the glory of the kings, of what happened when Menelik met Solomon. We read many stories and heard many versions of when Sheba met Solomon, but we very rarely hear about when her only son Menelik, meets his father in Israel. We rarely hear about that. And that story is not over yet. We haven't reached the climax yet. Okay? But we have reached the point where he has told his father that he's going home to his motherland. He came to visit his fatherland, but he will be living in his motherland. So he's going to return to the land of his mother. And in the meanwhile, we're going to be Black here tonight, continuing the story of Abraham Anabal and the Raiders of the Sands. So be here tonight at 9 if you want to continue to listen to this story. Okay. Excellent story to go along with this one about the Queen of Sheba, because the two coincide. They go together like bread and butter. And then, we do like you to do, there are a few things we'd like you to do before you go. Number 1, give us a like. Number 2, give us a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. And then, last but not least, go ahead and subscribe to our Tubular Black Facts channel. Easy to do. Hit the red button below this image. Just go ahead and hit the red button down there, and boom, you're in like Flynn. You'll be able to win with a grin from your ear to your chin. Absolutely. And in the meanwhile, we're going to continue doing our research here, and we pray that you all will continue to give us your unending, undying, what's the word for it? Effervescent. I can't seem to say that word today. Effervescent support. If you could do that, that would be great. In the meantime, peace out without a doubt, with justice. We'll see y'all tonight when everything's going to be just right. And let me just give a wave to Aphrodisia. We see you over there. And we're going into our extra. Got to go to the extra.